Alrighty. So today we are doing a technical analysis on the Kozibe effect. The Kozibe effect, very simply put, is a reflection of the Culet facet, which is the facet that's right at the bottom of the diamond, and does happen to be a point of light leakage, though not really, not enough to detract from a light performance grade in a diamond, but enough to, like this facet in the diamond, in this particular diamond that I'm pointing at here. This is an August vintage European cut Lotus. This here is an August vintage Old Mine Brilliant. Okay, ones that I oversee the cutting of. And this one here, you'll note, has a Culet size of very large based on the scan. And the other one here, the OMB, also very large. So these are already large Culets. All right. And I just happened to get out, I have a 4.5 carat on hand on the OMB on the left, and I have a 4 carat of the AVR Lotus on the right. So I got these out and looked at them with my eyes, and I also looked at them under the loupe to really make sure that if I was seeing anything, I was seeing it or not. So here's the thing. We're currently helping a client who really, really loves the shape of the OMB. Okay. But she likes how the Kozibe effect looks in the Lotus. And I'm going to show you a view that kind of shows these things a little bit better. We're going to go into a wireframe mode, and we're going to go to a double reflection. Watch what happens here. Right now we're seeing a one-dimensional 3D model. No, well, it's a 3D model, but single reflection mode. So we're just seeing the hard cold facet design of the AVR Lotus. When I go to double refraction, it adds, these are now reflections occurring within the diamond and show us where other facets will reflect within the diamond regarding other facets. And if you take note, you'll see the Culet reflecting in all of the other 8 crown mains. Okay? So that right there is what's called the Kozibe effect. In the August vintage OMB, you're going to notice it exists, but to a much lesser extent. They're standing out more predominantly in the 12, 6, 3, and 9 o'clock positions, but they're a little bit more closer to the table, where over here they're a little bit further out from the table. When we go into a reflector view, I'm going to go into the ideal scope view. All right, we can see that again here, 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 and we're getting these little dots here, which are also a secondary reflection of the Culet. You can see that, we can see that in asset results also. But I'm just going to the ideal scope view on these just to kind of show you there's secondary reflections that are going on. So we have our Kozibe effect in both diamonds, maybe in the Lotus to a little bit of a greater extent. Yeah, see, you can see it here too. See, right over here is a reflection of that, where my mouse is pointing, where the pointer is, and then down here as well. Now, let me just also say this. These secondary reflections down here, really, to try and see that on a within the diamond with your eyes, that's hard. It's hard. You can take, and here's another view to it in the asset results. So here's my commentary and thoughts after viewing. Now, having a 4.5 carat and 4 carat sizes in front of me, which is no small size, that's a nice size of a diamond. The Kozibe effect is not obvious. In fact, if you don't bring the diamond up to your eye like this close, you're not going to see it. Okay? Most people, when they're looking at diamonds, are looking at them from usually at least a half an arm's length distance. Okay? Which is where I have my hand right now in front of my face. At this distance, nobody is going to see it, even with very large culettes, which are on these diamonds. If you take note on diamonds that you see imagery of online that show the Kozibe effect, they're monstrous. Like, crazy monstrous. Like this. Extremely large culettes. So this will increase your chance of seeing the Kozibe effect Okay, see? But man, it sure does put a big point of leakage at the bottom. So with all of this in mind, it's me personally, if I was going to drop the bucks, and I don't care whether we're talking about a 5-carat diamond that's over $500,000 or a lab grown, which is a fraction of the price. If there's more than one thing that is persuading you towards one cut over the other, I would place that as a higher priority. Okay? I would place it at a higher priority. So for example, if I liked the shape and cutting style and the optics, and I've got plenty of videos that show these two diamonds on our YouTube channel, and even in comparisons side by side, I would personally counsel that client to get the diamond that pleases their eyes most in the most common lighting environments that they find themselves in. Very simply put, the Kozibe effect, it's kind of cool. I get it, but it's for something that's rarely going to be seen and observed. It would be low on my list of priorities on what I want to get in a diamond, unless I want to take the risk of making the culet uber large. And we've had clients do that with us before. They wanted to get the most beautiful diamond possible, but they wanted to get an extremely large culet. So we just obey the commands of our clients here at Distinctive Gem, and if they want an extremely large culet, we'll polish on an extremely large culet. But if you're thinking, whether you're getting one of our in-stock diamonds, and we have a pretty healthy inventory of August vintage OMBs and AVRs, or even if you were custom cutting one, I would say have us cut you one the way we normally cut it, with a very large culet, because going bigger than that, there are people who, they like culets in their old stones, but extremely large is like, for a lot of people, pushing the boundaries. In fact, when we first started cutting the August vintage European cut diamonds, the consumers that we interviewed and showed the examples to, all said, like 99% said, don't even cut it with any culet. It doesn't need a culet. The beauty of the diamond does not lie in the culet, which is true. It lies in its overall performance and beauty. So that's the that's the counsel that I'm going to give here. All right. You do have a slight bit of a spread advantage. Oh, you know what? There's one other. Yeah, there's one other slight advantage to the Lotus, but I wouldn't say it's a major advantage. But here I have two diamonds up on the screen, both set at a 5.05 carat weight on my default models for the Lotus and the Old Mine. And notice the diameter of the Lotus is 10.67 and the OMB at 10.08. So you are going to get more of a spread factor on the Lotus, but you know, you got a little over half of a millimeter going on there. And you know, for some people that's no big deal. For some people it is, but just something else to kind of bear in mind. So these are my thoughts on these two particular diamonds and the Kozibe Effect overall in any of the older cut diamonds. All right, I hope that helped. Thank you.